Please stand if you can. And our band are going to lead us in a fantastic song.
How to get along and
Assembly band. Well, I should introduce you to them. We've got drums, Andrew. Woo! We've got another Andrew. Woo! We have, oh, my brain is failing me now. Sorry, Di, and Steph. Amazing, and we're always on the lookout if you play something or sing for people to join the band. So that feels free. So yeah, Sunday Assembly, I was thinking about those songs as we were singing them. So we definitely do not want you to go. Do not turn around, leave, go out the door. Please stay for the rest of the assembly because hopefully you will enjoy it all. Hello to everybody as well who is on the live stream. And not here, we know you're there. Hello. So, I do have one other question before we go any further. It's really, really important. Could you put your hands up if you're a human? Could you put your hands up if you're a dancer? Put your hands up if you're human and dancer. Ah, you see, so I think we've solved that problem for them. All is well in the world. So Sunday Assembly is a community of people that come together to celebrate the one life that we know that we have. We welcome all who welcome all, and we have a little motto, which I tend to think of as more of our values, and that is live better, help often, and wonder more. And when we come together as a group, we listen to interesting speakers, we often have creative input, poets, other things as well come in there. We share as a community, and we do the singing, which is a really lovely bonding thing. Today our topic is criminal justice, and that's very close to my heart. For many years I have worked in criminal justice charities, which have taken me into lots of different charities, lots of different prisons over time, seen the way that people live, and it's not very pleasant. The punishment is the being in the prison and having your liberty taken from you, but conditions are harsh. So we are today going to have a talk from our very own Rob Foreman, and he's going to tell you more about his experience of how he's been into prisons. We're going to have some lovely spoken word from Chris. We've got lots of Chris's at Sunday Assembly, but this Chris today is a spoken word artist, but also does lots of amazing things supporting young people to prevent them going down the wrong line and ending up in prison, which is where we don't want anyone to be. So I'm going to start off first of all by asking Rob to come up and share with you his experience of being an independent, a member of the Independent Monitoring Board. These are people who go in voluntarily to all prisons to check what's going on in there. They are a safeguard. I'm not going to say too much more because I think he's going to tell you all about it, and I don't want to steal all his thunder. So a big Sunday Assembly welcome to Rob Foreman.
Thank you. Thanks very much, Anne. Have the next slide, please. Thank you. So I just wanted to start with this quote from Nelson Mandela. It said that no one truly knows a nation until one has been inside its jails. A nation should not be judged by how it treats its highest citizens, but its lowest ones. As Anne said, I have been a member of the Independent Monitoring Board for just coming up to about 10 years, and I wanted to speak a little bit about what that is and what I've got from it. So independent monitors exist in every prison and every immigration detention centre, and they are local people who are independent of the prison system or the Home Office, and we're there to complement the work of the professional inspectors who kind of descend on a prison every few years and analyse it in depth, but the monitors are there every week and can see what's happening all the time. And alongside the inspectors and some other bodies, we're part of the UK's international human rights obligations to the UN. So we report annually, technically, to the Prisons Minister, but just as importantly, we report to the public what we've seen. I think that's a really important thing because public education about what is in prisons from newspapers and TV and American films is not always completely accurate. So, the next please. This is a newspaper article about one of the annual reports that we produced at Wormwood Scrubs. I think it was a reasonably fair summary of what we had to say in our press statement. Drugs, violence. We reported rat infestations, chaos in the regime where staff and prisoners didn't know where they were supposed to be all day. Staff had retreated for their own safety. As the next, this is how another newspaper reported the same thing. I should add that there was not a giant train set. That was not true. What we'd mentioned in one paragraph at the end of the report, that about 10 people had been given some training to help them get jobs on the railway, and there was a small piece of track and they learnt how to attach it to the ground. That was the giant train set. So I think there's a really important aspect of just telling people what's really happening. So what are we looking for when we go inside a prison? So we have the right to enter any time unannounced, go anywhere we like, talk to prisoners in private, and they can write letters to us that staff can't access. And we try and find out whether the information we've got is accurate. Quite often the truth about something is kind of somewhere in the middle of what everyone tells you about it, and it can be really hard to find out what's going on. And of course we recognise that issues like corruption and bullying are exactly the things that happen when inspectors aren't watching them. So naturally those things are really hard to find. But we look at things like safety. Are there processes in place to identify violence and self-harm? And are those processes actually working, or are they tick box exercises? Do officers who are planning to use force on someone invite us to witness it and be independent observers? Or is it always, when no one's watching, are managers monitoring whether those things are justified? Are they trying to find who's a bully and who's vulnerable? We look at whether conditions are decent and humane. For example, food. Anyone like to guess what the average budget is for 3 meals for a day? £1. You're pretty conservative with the budget there. I think £2. I mean, it varies from one place to another. Yeah, about £1.90, £2.10, something like that for 3 meals. It's not always great. We ask staff if they know who individual people are. If I ask, is there anyone I should go and have a chat with, someone who's got a problem, do they tell me, yeah, that gentleman, he's just had some bad news, be careful how you talk to him, he might be really upset? Do they tell me, no, they're all bad? Physical conditions. For the next slide, please. This is a picture of a cell at Wormwood Scrubs, taken at an inspection when it's just been painted and cleaned, and that is just about as good as it's going to get for anyone. That happens to be a single, but most of them have 2 beds and it's the same size room. So imagine spending 23 hours a day, every day, living in there. The next slide. When you're outside of that room, that's where you live. Again, that's with a fresh coat of paint. It's just been done like that for an inspection. The next as well, please. That's what it can look like. Those are pictures from Wandsworth taken, was this year or last year, and that's, again, what they had for inspectors to see. Since in the Wormwood Scrubs report we published in 2017, we talked about piles of rotting food, rats, unheated cells with broken glass in the windows, no working toilets for people, and a year later there were still shortages of clothes, toilet paper, so few working showers, people fought over water. Wheelchair users couldn't meet their visitors without being picked up and carried up the stairs. Rats had chewed cables. And only this year a German court refused to extradite someone to the UK because they couldn't guarantee the conditions they'd be held in. But it's not just physical conditions. We look at whether things are fair for people, systems and processes. For instance, people tell us that they've had their TV taken away as a punishment, but they're still billed for it. They have to choose between working, having a shower, and going to their religious service because the daily schedule can't accommodate more than one at a time. Say you're on prescription medicine, you're transferred to another prison, and your prescription medicine's banned there. You might lose your job because of an intelligence report against you. You find out that the intelligence was incorrect, but you don't get your job back. And one of the biggest complaints we hear from everyone is lost property. And everyone thinks that losing property is annoying, but when those 1 or 2 boxes of your possessions are your only possessions, you can't get more. Maybe the only photos of your family, and things just disappear in the system. Every prison says they think it's somewhere else. Healthcare, it's supposed to be the same everywhere, in prison and outside, but you can't just go to hospital. You can't call a doctor. It might take days to arrange an appointment. We hear people have appointments and they just aren't collected on the day. They don't go there. Smarters did not attend, back of the queue. We look at progression afterwards. Can you get education? Can you get training? Are they meaningful skills that will actually get you a job later? Can you get help with housing? What if your appointment for help with housing is stuck in a backlog and you don't get it for 3 months after you've left? So that's some of the things that we report on. But I also wanted to talk a little bit about what I've gained from 10 years of going into prisons and meeting people. So I first applied to be a monitor because as much as I love my job, if my boss is watching, I still like it. But I'm a professional engineer, and I spend my day with other professional engineers who are pretty much like me. And I've had an amazing opportunity to spend time with people who are completely outside my little social bubble and interact with people from such different backgrounds. It's taught me to try and avoid assumptions about people. For example, I think when I started, I probably asked a few people if they could send me a letter, or if they just look at a document I'd given them. And I embarrassed people because a lot of people in prison can't read. So that's something I've learned not to put people into that position. I had a lot of prejudices when I began. I thought, oh, maybe I'd be catching out officers who are corrupt bullies all day long. And there are some people who are less good at that job, but I've seen a lot of people in uniform who are trying to do what they can for people with the limited resources open to them. And I wondered if people in prison might all be the violent monsters that you read about. And again, I've met a few very difficult and troubled people, but the truth is far more complex, and it's not a representative image. And I've seen so much kindness and concern for other people from everyone in prison, whether they work there or they live there. I remember the first time that I went in on my own and I had to go and knock on someone's door and ask them what was wrong and try and sort out their problems. And I spent about 5 minutes lurking in front of the door, wondering if I could really knock on it and talk to them. And I've gained so much confidence in that environment that now I feel completely comfortable being in a prison wing and chatting to people and finding out what's going on with them. For a couple of years I was also chair of the Wormwood Scrubs board, and that brought me in a few unexpected situations where I suddenly found myself managing an organisation of 18 other people and having journalists call me up, and I very quickly learnt how to deal with journalists. For the first time you find something in print that wasn't quite what you thought you'd said. So in summary, I'd like to say that there are some great success stories, but progress is slow and it's really hard to measure. Having stories in papers about rats and broken windows is a great way to get the headlines, but it's much more satisfying being able to write a report about reduced violence, better healthcare for people, better outcomes for prisoners and society. So that almost everyone has been to school themselves, and if you're a parent, you've seen your children go to school. Pretty much everyone's been in hospital a few times. We know what it's like there. We can tell if a school or a hospital is working. But a lot of us think prisons are for someone else. We'll never visit one. We'll certainly never have to live inside one. But it can happen to anyone. So we should think about how we'd want to be treated if it was us. There's 85,000 people in prison in England and Wales, 68,000 serving a prison sentence, about 17,000 waiting for trials or immigration detainees who haven't committed a crime. And it's so vital that those people are not just warehoused where the rest of us can't see them, but the public can understand what's happening and judge whether it's serving society. And it's so vital as well that those people know someone outside is watching. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Rob. Just wanted to ask you a couple of questions, really, because that was an absolutely brilliant talk, and I thought it really expressed the differences between what people hear about prisons and what the reality is like if you are a person in prison. Rob, we know there's a lot of issues in the criminal justice system generally and in prisons particularly. If you had a magic wand, and this is a difficult one to answer, I guess, is there one thing that you would change that would make the system work better?
Can I have two things?
Yeah.
So, I should say I'm speaking personally and not for the organisation. I would, well, maybe the smaller thing I'd change is fund the system, because prison managers and governors say so often, you've told us our prison isn't working, we know everything you've said, we're tied into a contract, I don't have any money, what should I cut to fix those problems? And the other thing that I might change is for society to think harder about who needs to be there. There's so many people are they're crying out for help with drugs, housing, mental health, and if you could just fix that, that's the thing that keeps them coming back to prison.
Great. Thank you so much, Rob. That was amazing. Big round of applause for Rob. Thank you. And I think there was a few things that really struck me there, and one of those was that Rob is almost the personification of the help often value that we have, but also the wonder more. So going in and learning and having an open mind and being able to change your mind about things that you thought that you knew about is really, really important. That's what happened to me as well in my many roles when I went and I met people. And so I think my main message kind of chimes with Rob's. Rob, we need some system change, but also we all need to remember that people in prison are humans. They might be dancers too, but they're definitely humans. So. Okay, so this is the part of the assembly where we've had a great talk. We're just going to take a few moments just to reflect maybe on what we've heard, something that's been going through your mind during the week, anything. We're going to dim the lights, and if you want to close your eyes and just take some time for yourself. And if your eyes are closed, you might want to open them now. Keep them closed if you want to. We don't have much time during our week often when we're really busy to take those moments, so it's nice to be able to do that and to do that together. Carrying on with our theme, the behind bars criminal justice theme, we have today for you a wonderful spoken word artist who's joining us, Chris Syrus. So Chris is not only a spoken word artist, as I mentioned earlier. He does all kinds of things which really help to prevent young people coming into difficult circumstances from committing crimes, for taking a path that we could easily have taken had we not had the support ourselves. And he uses creative arts to do this. He is a personal development speaker and coach and does lots and lots of things. He's got a new book out, which at the end, after his talk, if you want to buy, you'll be able to buy at the end as well. And the proceeds of any books that he sells goes towards creating free programs for young people. So, you know, they are not going to go down that line. Big, massive Sunday Assembly welcome for Chris. Oh, where is it? Oh. He's on his way, so you get to look at me for a little bit longer and have a little chat. So his book is called, I did write this down, it's called LoveLife6968 Memoirs from the Pen. And he'll be here to share some of the things from it soon. Okay, this doesn't normally happen, but we are used to the odd, strange thing happen here. So just kind of going back to the criminal justice theme, I mentioned that I'd worked for some criminal justice charities. One was Shannon Trust. They are a charity that support people to teach peers to read in prison. So there's a huge number of people who can't read in prison, which makes it difficult to manage, to navigate your way through those very complicated situations which Rob was telling us about. They are also starting to do things in the community as well. Literacy figures are quite shockingly bad in the UK. And it's on his way, yeah? Yeah, and we have Chris joining us now, so you better stop me talking. Big welcome and applause for Chris.
And I was holding it, and I was like, oh, we're doing a minute out, and we quickly went to the toilet. Apologies. It's an honor, a pleasure to be here with you guys, to share some of my background, some of my experience, some of my poems, some of my stories, and I hope it does awaken, inform, and I'm here to answer any questions as well. So, my name is Christopher Syrus. I'm the author of the book. Can you hear me without that? Yeah, that's annoying. The author of the book, LoveLife6968 Memoirs from the Pen. So the title, oh, you need me in front of the camera, sorry. The title, LoveLife6958, is from the prison number LL6958. And it's about turning a negative into a positive. And I actually remember being in Wandsworth prison and they were handing out letters. So we was getting letters from our children, from our mums, from our family. And the officer came into the room and he says, your prison number's not on the letter. And the next time you get a letter, make sure your prison number's on the letter or you're not going to get your letter. And there was a sense of I was no longer Christopher Syrus, I was LL6958. And my stance of rebellion is I was turning it into something positive, which was LoveLife6958. So this book is a collection of poems that I wrote while I was inside. I'm currently a personal development facilitator and a youth coach. So I go into prisons, I go into schools, and I deliver personal development workshops. I deliver workshops around things that helped me, like mindset, like habit change, and I've been doing that for the last 14 years. If you hit that slide for me, please. My story probably started at age 15. At age 15, I would say I was a young person with a high self-esteem. So I grew up in Croydon, I went to a school in Croydon, and at 15, me and my twin sister went to this school called Ashburton. We had loads of friends. So, you know, I've got a twin sister, so I've got female friends, I've got male friends. I'm a top set student. I'm only 5 foot something, but I'm captain of the basketball team. Life is good at 15. I'm happy at 15. And something happens between the age of 16 and 24 where I become disillusioned with society, with education. Someone who believed he can go into computers and do anything he wants now believed there was a glass ceiling and I saw it. Now believed I couldn't run my own business, I couldn't go to uni, I failed my GCSEs. I didn't believe in myself. And by the time I got to my late teenage years, I had this real belief within myself that I had two options. And these options were I was going to make it in music, or I was going to be a drug dealer. This is a young person in the UK who believes he's only got two options within his own mind. Is he's going to do something in music or he's going to have to be a drug dealer. And whether that's environment, whether that's the media, whether that's whatever that is, that was my experience, that was my belief. And by the age of 24, I found myself in Kingston Crown Court, charged with conspiracy to import Class A, and I was sentenced to a 10-year prison sentence in Wandsworth, which was very well described. He was talking about my home. When he talks about 23 hours a day, that was my real experience. I didn't see any rats, fortunately, but some of the cells were quite grim. There's something that really important happened, and I would say it happened on the very first day of being incarcerated. It was the worst day of my life and the best day of my life at the same time. And the reason why this was is because I remember looking up at the ceiling and I was replaying my life up until that point. How did I end up in Wandsworth prison with a 10-year prison sentence? I'm meditating, just like we just done now, and I went to the toilet, like that meditating time. And I had 5 years to do it, not 2 minutes. I was meditating on how did I get there. And when I went back through my life, it occurred to me I didn't have to be here. I actually didn't have to be there. I didn't have to think what I thought. I didn't have to believe what I believe. I didn't have to make the choices that I made. And the reason I say it was the best time and the worst time is because I suddenly realized I had a purpose. And that purpose was, suppose that I could help young people with this subconscious belief, with this conscious belief. Suppose I could go back into schools and talk to my 15, 16, 17-year-old self and have an impact and change the trajectory of their life. And I suddenly was determined that that's what I was going to do for the rest of my life. I had no qualifications, but I was clear outside of music and drug dealing what I wanted to do. I studied Open University, a course called psychology, with Prisoner Education Trust, and I'm going to mention them a little bit later. They funded me to do psychology in prison. And what was exciting is within 8 months, I'm now at university in my mind. So now things are changing. And I'm speaking to Mum. I'm like, Mum, I'm at university. This is where she wanted me to be. She wanted me to go to university. I'm like, it's HMP Wandsworth, but I'm at university. I'm studying a degree. My two motivations was to help young people and to make my mum proud. My two biggest driving forces throughout my whole 5-year behind the door on a 10-year prison sentence was to make my mum proud and to give back to young people. I made it to an open prison after about 3.5 years of the 5 years behind the door. And I went to a place that you may have heard of called St. Giles Trust. And there I studied advice and guidance, I studied teacher training. And in 2009, I left prison with qualifications to work with young people, with a belief that I'm going to work with young people. And I didn't really know how I was going to do it, and it occurred to me. This is a place of faith, a place of worship. I believe God gave me the idea, the vision, from the beginning, even purpose. You've got a folder full of poems. You've got a folder full of your deepest, darkest thoughts in terms of what it was like to be in prison. Why don't you put it into a book? Why don't you publish those private poems and share them with young people? Tell them what it was like. Tell them what your experience was. And that's how the business started in 2009. I published a book. I went to schools. I went to prisons for free and just shared the story. And then the schools called me. How much would you charge? The kids loved it. They come back in. And 3 years later, I had a music studio. Hit the next slide for me. I think I've got something around business. Okay, I've got something around awards. So I was traveling around. After 3 years, I opened up a music studio. So my two main forms of engaging young people are the creative arts and music, because poetry really helped me, and personal development, because it's all about the mindset. The business is 14 years old. There's been numerous awards, from Boris Johnson giving me the Peace Award in 2010, the British Empire Medal, so that's the Queen's Lieutenant, so I got a British Empire Medal in 2017, and last year I won the Pride of Croydon Award. But what's really important, hit that slide for me. Can we give Mum Dukes a round of applause? So what's really important is that, you know, Mum gets to be proud of her son, who's doing well and who's working in the community and is a business owner. So yeah, hit the slide one more time. Prisons Education Trust funded me to do psychology. Without Prisons Education Trust, I don't know if this would have happened in the way that it's happened. I'm actually doing a half marathon on October 8th for Prisoners Education Trust. If you'd like to fund, I've already hit my target, so I had a target of £400. I think we're about £700 at the moment. But if you can donate, yeah, that's worth a round of applause. Follow that lady. If you do want to add to that, you can go to justgiving.com, Christopher Syrus, and you can, you know, support Prison Education Trust to do the great work they're doing. My personal website in terms of the business is syrusconsultancy.com. You can buy the book on that website. You can buy the book here from me today. Shall I share some poetry? Yeah. That man at the back, he was ready. I'll pay you. You get a free book. So there's a couple ways to do this. I did have a backing track, which you're saying is ready. But I've also got, because there was two of them, I've got the two of them on my phone. Is that going to be easier to run the two of them back to back on my phone, or do you just want to do what you've got there?
I'm happy to just press a button.
All right, he doesn't want any more problems. All right, cool. Pause that. That's nice, that's nice. I'm going to do, because there's two of them. I get you're excited. Can you pause 1 minute? I'm going to do that one last. I'm going to do some a cappella ones before I go into that one. Remind me of your name? Matt. Me and Matt are going to do this thing, don't worry. It's nice to actually, without music, just kind of share some poems, and it gives me the opportunity to share poems that I probably wouldn't normally share. So the first one that I want to share is called The Yard, which is on page 12. I remember being in Wandsworth Prison and stepping out into the prison yard for the first time, and that's scary. You're talking about hundreds of prisoners, you know no one, it was winter, and yeah, I'll do that poem. Stepping out into this circular outdoor cage is like jumping into the deep end of a shark pool. Preformed groups gather around the metal gate. Athletes jog around the yard, their minds somewhere else. Peacocks circle their chest high, intimidating the competition. Others walking, talking, planning. On some mornings, this will be the first time out of the cell in 24 hours, because social and domestic was cancelled again due to staff shortages. Alliances are made on this yard. A disrespect amongst your circle is a direct disrespect to you. Your retaliation or lack of it will send messages sevenfold throughout the system. If I moved to you, it was not because I didn't value your life or reputation. It was because I valued my own more. The prisoners outnumber the guards here. They sit two up in a small cage within this larger cage. We circle and look at them. They sit still and look at us. If a parcel comes over the wall, they will be powerless. They can only take the details of the donkey sent to collect it. They could call for backup and end morning exercise early. Here there is great strength in numbers. Area codes, religion, colour can be the quickest identifying factor in which to find your group. You'll need a group. You'll need a friend. With time, cellmates bond, strangers bond, people with great differences that would never have bonded previously bond. This is a shared experience. Our enemy, the system. Thank you. When I pop you, yeah. Anytime I stop dramatically, that means round of applause. Okay, cool. Let's run that one. This one's got some music in the background. This one's called In Air. So the toughest time away, we was good on that map before. You ready? Okay, cool. The toughest time away was probably Christmas, New Year's, and my birthday. This one's called In Air. Man, them don't get no birthdays in air. Man, them don't get no Christmas in air. Man, them don't get no New Year's in air. In air, in air, in air, in air. Man, them don't get no birthdays in air. Man, them don't get no Christmas in air. Man, them don't get no New Year's. There's no New Year's. There's no New Year's in air. Drama's a daily occurrence. Man threaten man to send man to their parents like they know addresses and postal codes. That be's personal, that be's from road. Oh, that's some kitty argument, don't bring it to me. HMP will be the last we should see. Believe me, in air. Some walk around like they're shook. Maybe they're scared of the hot oil, scared of the juk, cause in air. Man, them don't get no birthdays in air. Man, them don't get no Christmas in air. Man, them don't get no New Year's in air. In air, in air, in air, cause in air. Man, them don't get no birthdays in air. Man, them don't get no Christmas in air. Man, them don't get no New Year's. There's no New Year's. There's no New Year's in air. Calls are like £1 a minute. So you sneak a techno on a visit or pay your price, that's ridiculous. But it's worth the phone S with your missus. When you're handling your biz, you better watch for them snitches. In air, wifey's picture stays by my head. In air, I pray the Lord or let my people dead. In air, I think about all my mistakes. In air, in air, in air, in air, cause in air. Man, them don't get no birthdays in air. Man, them don't get no Christmas in air. Man, them don't get no New Year's. There's no New Year's. There's no New Year's in air. Man, them don't get no birthdays in air. Man, them don't get no Christmas in air. Man, them don't get no New Year's. There's no New Year's. There's no New Year's in air. Wipe your tears. Hold your hand. Oh, lift you up when you're too weak to stand. And the sun goes down and the going gets tough. Who to trust? Who to trust? Wipe your tears. Hold your hand. Lift you up. All right, you guys know the chorus? Do we know the chorus? You gonna join me on the chorus? All right, let's get it. Let's go. Cause in air, man, them don't get no birthdays. Man, them don't get no Christmas. Man, them don't get no New Year's in air, in air, in air, in air, cause in air. Man, them don't get no birthdays. Louder. Man, them don't get no Christmas. Man, them don't get no New Year's. There's no New Year's. There's no New Year's in air. Thank you guys for listening.
Thank you so much. That was really, really awesome. And thank you for sharing also your personal experiences, because I think that really brings stuff to life for people. I think we should give him another round of applause. Woo! And a round of applause from Matt. so we're now at the point where we are going to have a bit of a chat, but at the same time as having a bit of a chat, we are going to be passing around a bucket and a card machine because Sunday Assembly is a charity. We try to keep costs as low as we possibly can, but we do have to pay for things like rent and all kinds of subscriptions and bits and bobs. So if you are able to, it would be wonderful if you can donate. There are various ways to do that. As I say, the buckets are coming round. We also have a slide up there if you want to donate. There's some suggested donations. If you can't afford to give, that's absolutely fine. We totally get that times are hard right now, but please, if you can, it would be helpful. You can also text donate, and the slide says wonder. Yes, it says, when it comes back, up you go, wonder, and the amount you want, and it gives you the number. If you do not want marketing information, there's a no info option as well. Brilliant. And in the meantime, have a chat with someone who's around you. If there's someone who is on their own, chat with them, someone you've not met before. Okay. I hate this bit because I have to interrupt these really good conversations that are going on. But you can have those conversations at the end of the assembly, carry on having them, talk to different people, talk to the people you've been talking to. Thank you so much for everyone who has donated here and also people who give regularly as well. It's massively appreciated. And we're also a community that has lots and lots of volunteers who make all of this happen. It's not all the people you can just see, but there are people behind the scenes who make that happen too. And that is a donation of time, which is massively appreciated. Okay, so it's time for a song. Who's ready for a song? Woo! Okay, up to your feet. We can do that singing thing. After, yeah.
Okay, I'll leave it to you.
Oh, well, the things were all a little bit the wrong way around, so, yeah. Let's do, we didn't do the song, and then we'll do notices. Honestly, it's written down, but you know.
I see my light come shining from the west down to the east. Every day now, I shall be released. They say every man needs protection. They say that every man is born. Yet I swear I see my reflection somewhere so high above this wall. I see my light come shining from the west down to the east. Every day now, I shall be released. Now God stands a man in this lonely crowd, a man who swears he's not to blame. All day long I hear him shouting so loud, just crying out that he was afraid. I see my light come shining from the west down to the east. Any day now, I shall be released. I see my light come shining from the west down to the east. Let me hear you. Any day now, I shall be released. I see my light come shining from the west down to the east. Any day now, I shall be released.
Thank you. I've never sung that before, but it was great to sing along to. I really enjoyed that. Thank you. And very on topic, I think, for today. Now, who here is here for the first time? Hello, welcome. Big round of applause. Woo. Thank you for coming. Sometimes people come because they're just curious. Sometimes people come because they're interested in the topic or someone brings them along. So we like to do a bit of kind of intro to this section. Now, this is called notices or something, announcements, but basically it's the things that we do outside of this space, outside of this assembly as a community, and things that you might want to get involved with. So today we have the lovely Hannah, who is going to be telling you all about these things. Now, Hannah needs an extra big round of applause because she's got quite bad toothache and she's still come to do this today.
Hello. Very kindly, Alan has agreed to be my understudy, so if I go and I have to run off, he will take over. Before I go into the notices, I just want to say, I actually used to work for Prisoners Education Trust, who Chris mentioned earlier. I worked there for 3 years. I read around 200 application letters from prisoners every month for 3 years. So I think that's about 7,000 letters from prisoners who are telling me what they wanted to study and why. And a lot of people wrote their entire life stories and poured their hearts out into these application letters. And so I just by chance happened to be doing the notices today as someone who's also worked with an organisation that helps prisoners have a better future. I would really recommend, even though I don't work for PT anymore, I would really recommend making a donation to Prisoners Education Trust, because was it £400 that you'd raised so far? Most, up to 700. Right, so the maximum grant they do is £500 for a distance learning course, and most of the course are about £350, and the letters we kept getting and the ex-prisoners we met after they'd been released and they've got jobs, they said that one grant of about £300 was what kept them out of prison. Like just getting that one course, doing gardening courses, you know, psychology courses, personal training courses, that was the thing that started their new life outside of prison as well. So really, Prisoners Education Trust, big fan, even though I don't work there anymore. Right, so notices. Right, next assembly is in 2 weeks, and the title is Happy Together. We have someone from Action for Happiness to talk about how we can help each other learn evidence-based skills for happier living. I will be hosting for the first time ever. No big deal, no big deal. Right, so come along in 2 weeks' time for that. So today, after the assembly, we have tea and coffee, biscuits, there might be cake, who knows. If you ever want to bake, you don't have to ask for permission, just bring it, just bring it. And the tea and coffee will be available in the lobby, and then you can come back here and have a chat. We have this room until 1 o'clock. At 1 o'clock, you can go home if you really want to, but if you want to carry on chatting, some of us are going to the pub. If you don't know where the pub is, follow the strange blonde woman with the pub headband on her head. Around 5 minutes to 1, we'll meet in the lobby and then we'll walk over together. If you already know where the pub is, see you there. Usually we have a lunch club which meets somewhere, goes for lunch somewhere in the area. Today it will be the Japan Matsuri Festival in Trafalgar Square. There will be Japanese food, food stalls, there'll be loads of cool things going on. Mitsuki, who is at the back there, Mitsuki will be leading a group of people to go there, so that's today's lunch club. And then other things that are happening outside of the Sunday assemblies on a Sunday. One of the things is called Tea and TED, and it's you watch a TED talk and then have a chat with other people about it. And this is on Zoom, so it's accessible for people who can't necessarily make it into central London. And you can sign up for that on the Sunday Assembly meetup page or on the Facebook page. It's organised by Liz. I don't know if Liz is here. I haven't seen her. No? Okay. And then we also have Article Club, which basically like a book club, but for people with short attention spans. So the great thing is you can sign up for it and download the articles and then read them on the tube on your way there. So really low commitment. This is organised by Alistair. I don't know if Alistair is here. Yep, there we go. So speak to Alistair if you want to join that. There's also the meetup page for that and a Facebook page, so search for those. There will be a pub quiz on Thursday, the 26th of October. There's just been a Facebook event page put up for that. Who is organising that? Is it Matt? How did I guess? Matt, will you be doing the round where you do movie quotes in really silly voices and different accents?
I mean, probably, yeah.
Okay, I'll be going then. That is really, really funny. Right, just as a side note, we don't have a slide for that, but Yule Rock, the annual not Christmas party, but Christmassy songs. That is the 2/3 of the early bird tickets have already sold out. So if you want to get a £12 ticket, buy your tickets now because they are going to be gone. Full price tickets are £15, so that's still quite affordable. But yeah, so a lot of them have been sold and it will be great. That is in December. Look at the website and the Facebook page for more details on that. Right, so Trees for Cities, I think is the next one. Yes, great. So when I was 11, I planted a shrub near my school along the main road, and ever since then, every single time we drive past it, I point it out to my parents and go, see that shrub? I planted that. And they say, yep, you've been telling us that for 30 years. If you want to annoy your loved ones, here's your chance. Trees for Cities is doing tree planting. And there's going to be a group of us going. I think the dates are 18th of November and 9th of December, if I remember correctly. And Alan, are you?
14th, from memory, I think it's the 14th and the 28th of October.
Oh.
And then the 4th and, the 11th and 25th of November. But check the emails, we're sending a thing out.
Okay.
If you're interested, we'll get some names down. We'll send an email out.
Okay, so at the moment, just concentrate on the bragging rights of like maybe going to this thing at some point. The dates and the actual details, we'll get those to you later. Check out the newsletter, the dates will be on there at some point, but that's an advance warning, have a think about that. Okay, so Sunday Assembly is not just in London, there are lots of locations in other places. One of them is in Brighton, which is quite close by, and quite a few people from the Brighton Assembly come here, and quite a few people from London go to Brighton for their assembly. Next one is on the 8th of October, and Nets, Bugs and Rock and Roll. I'm gonna say that the main word here is bugs. It's probably something with bugs. And it's the same kind of format, but just in Brighton. And with slightly different people. So go to that if you feel like it. We have a food bank collection every week at the back, so if you want to bring something to the collection, leave it at the back of the room. There is a list of things that are popular. Rice pudding with 3 exclamation marks seems to be the big thing. Yeah. Right, so we have come to the section where we say yes, which means this is your chance to let us know if you've got any news, anything you'd like to announce to us. Simon?
My partner, Karen, who many people here will know, is finally finishing her Masters on Monday, so she'll actually be back for the first time in months. And so we're all very excited about that at home because we'll actually get to see her sat at the computer typing.
Very good. Okay, and for anyone who didn't hear that, Simon's partner Karen, who normally is here, she hasn't been around much because she's been finishing her Masters, and she will be finished tomorrow. So when you see Karen next time, say hello and congratulate her. Dawn. Okay, anyone's got a room to rent to Dawn? She makes very good tea. You will see in a minute. Phil?
Hello. Yes, again, I'm working something. Because I am working with the British Heart Foundation. Yes, Botox, Oswald workshops. On an event for people with who've been affected by heart disease. So that is coming up in November, on November the 21st. Please talk to me, and I can get round to sending you the Eventbrite. I am also working on something around prosthetics. So if you know anyone who has needed to have one of their legs replaced with something a little bit more artificial, or was needing a new hand, come off talk, please put them in touch. So as usual, thanks for letting me pass that.
Okay. So speak to Phil if you are interested in prosthetics and British Heart Foundation. I'm not going to summarize everything you said because I would be very confused. Right, I think that's probably everyone. Okay, thank you very much.
That's Hannah with toothache, so when she's hosting in 2 weeks' time, she won't have that toothache, and I'm sure she's going to be absolutely fantastic. Right. Okay, I just wanted to do a bit of a round. We didn't finish, a bit of a round of thanks to everybody. So thank you to everybody, all of you who've come here today to join us, to sing, to listen, to applaud, to talk to each other, and to everybody who was online as well. But mostly thank you to our speakers. So we've got Chris and Rob today, but also to all of the people who volunteer here, from the tea team who are making sure that we've got lovely hot drinks, to the people who sit on our board of trustees, to our bands, to Nicole who's been doing the live streaming, Matt doing the sound, and so many other people who sit on our coordination crew. So we've got Wawa and Alan and Rob and anybody else who I may have missed. So thank you for being part of our community. If anyone wants to know about any opportunities or anything that's going on, at the back during tea and coffee, there are things up on the wall which will give you some information, or you can talk to one of the people at the back over there to get those details if you missed somebody as we were going. It has been extraordinary. Thank you so much, everybody, for being here today. We've got one last song. So if everyone wants to come and join us and do a bit of singing and dancing, thank you, everyone.